My name is Rebecca. You can find me on Instagram and Ravelry as EvilTwin2. You can find show notes on the blog at owlknitwithyou.blogspot.com. You can find us on Ravelry as a group under owlknitwithyou. And you can send me emails if you need to contact me at owlknitwithyou@gmail.com. Hey, how are you guys? It has been a very long time since I've got a chance to sit down and talk with you. A lot of things have happened in the probably month that I've been away. My boyfriend's dad passed away, which is a big reason why I haven't been podcasting, because I've been spending a lot of my spare time with him, my boyfriend and his family. So I apologize if you guys have missed me, but I promise you it was for very good reasons. His dad had been in the hospital since February of this year, in and out a lot. He'd even come home a couple times because they thought he was doing better. And this last stint that he'd been in the hospital had been a really long haul and really rough on everybody. And they even had to make the choice to unplug him. And then he lived for about a week after that, and that was pretty hard, but I think everyone had their chances to say goodbye. It's just been really emotional, and I don't deal with grief well at all. I know this is a very negative way to start the podcast, but I just want you guys to know what's going on. I never intended to quit podcasting for a month, but every time that I would set aside time to do that, somebody would want to have a get-together in their family, or I would just need to be with Andrew, or just even need like an hour to myself to process things. So I appreciate you guys. Some of you tracked me down and looked on my other Ravelry boards where I hang out and like checked my posted comments to see if I had mentioned where I was at, and I got a couple messages from you guys curious about stuff, and even just post in the Ravelry group saying, "We miss your face, when are you gonna come back?" And that like made me tear up. Like, it was really, really touching. And those of you who didn't post anything, I'm sure you were thinking like, I haven't seen Rebecca in a while, I hope everything's okay, but you didn't want to be invasive, and I appreciate that too. So, yeah, it's been a rough month. So, yay, October. But I just wanted to tell you guys what was going on. And let's just take a deep breath and move on to some knitting stuff. You know what I mean? Or some pre-knitting stuff, really. So this October, I'm gonna adjust for a second here. So I just signed up for my first like Stock Yarn Club subscription. I'm doing it through Supernatural Yarns, who is fantastic dyer and does a lot of stuff in her group, which is fun. More on that in a minute. And she is doing a Walking Dead group right now. I think it's open till the end of October, and then after that she's closing it, or if she fills up spots first, whichever happens. So I will post a link, and if you guys still have time, check that out. So I will be getting sock yarn for the next 3 months, and I'm super excited about it. Also coming up soon, as in next week, as in the 24th of October through the 2nd of November, I will be gone to Dallas. So if you live in the Dallas, Texas area, or nearby enough that you'd want to meet up with me at a coffee shop and, I don't know, knit and drink coffee or eat lunch somewhere, I would love to meet you. You just have to send me a PM on Ravelry and let me know to meet up with you, and we will figure out a time and stuff like that, because that would be super awesome to meet you guys. Also, as a blather type thing, I got a fantastic package in the mail over the course of this break, and I would love to show you guys a couple things out of it. Not everything, because I had a lot of stuff. Maria Samria, who has become my internet pen pal on Ravelry, sent me a box of goodies from Germany, which is a really long way to send stuff. They came, I'm gonna turn it this way so you guys can't see all my stuff. They came in this fantastic box. She sent me 4 different yarns. Ooh, that's a box in there. 4 different yarns, all sorts of German candy, and a tape measure that is a snail. Like, it looks like a snail, and I had it with me, and then I think I've moved it because I use it so much. Oh, it is right there. Hold on 2 seconds. So it's a snail tape measure. Look at this thing. It's a tape measure, but it's also, see, it's a snail tape measure. Isn't that so clever? And then you push the snail button to the snail. Yeah, it's so cute. She also sent me some yarn that she had dyed. Ta-da! This is the yarn that she had dyed that she sent me, and it's very cute. But she also sent me yarn to dye. How cool is that? So for the dyeing that I did, I will post a link to the tutorial that she made for me so that you get all the facts right. But you soak yarn in vinegar and then you dye it with Kool-Aid. So this is one of the skeins that I made, and you'll see the other one in a little bit. And I used black cherry and cherry in 2 separate mason jars. It was a really fun experience. I think it turned out really, really well. I've gotten a lot of compliments on my yarn. This skein isn't dyed quite as dark because it was my first one. And so there are some lighter parts in it where I just didn't quite, here's a big white part, where I didn't quite realize what I was doing. But how cute would this be for like a Valentine's Day pair of socks? But that's not what it's for. I'll show you what it's for in just a second. So that, I also got a mustache button from her, and a magnet that is one of those keep calm and carry on magnets, which was very sweet. But it was just a fantastic package, and I just wanted to say thank you to her for being so kind. So that was awesome. I was gonna say that for mustache, but honestly, you just need to see it like right away because it's so fantastic. But okay, so I mentioned Supernatural Yarns, and now I'm gonna mention them again. So Supernatural Yarns did a just for fun Spinzilla thing where it was during Spinzilla, which if you don't know what Spinzilla is, you have a team and you pay a fee and you spin a lot, and I think there's probably prizes. I didn't sign up for the official thing. I did the Supernatural Yarns version of it, which ran during the same time, and it was called like fall training for spinning, right? Okay. And it was really fun. I spun this bat and this bit of merino together. Those were both spun as single plies, and then I plied those 2 different things together to get one fantastic yarn. Look at this. It's very Eastery because it's got all the pinks and the blues and the purples, but then the yellow is so consistent and nice that I think it really like ties it together. Really ties the room together. No, just kidding. But I have no idea what I'll make with this yet. It is tons of yardage because of the way I did it. So it's 7.7 ounces because the art bat was 4.7 ounces and the merino was 4 ounces. But because I spun the art bat like thick and thin, the links were different. And so I have quite a bit more yellow left that I will use for something. Whenever I spin, whatever side I have more of, I'm sorry, I'm trying to fold this into a skein as I talk to you. I put on a roll of toilet paper so I can use it as like a mismatch for later on. So here's my fantastic yarn. I spun so much. So this is what I spun for her Spinzilla spin-off. And I also won. I won some fiber from her shop that I got to pick out. So I said, hey, does it work out for you to just, if I bought something, could you stick it all in the same box? And she was like, of course. So I also bought something from her. So I bought something and I won something, and I'm getting a club shipment from her. So you'll be seeing a lot of Supernatural yarns in the next few months. She does not sponsor the podcast in any way, shape, or form. These are all personal purchases. I've just become obsessed with her shop. She has some really pretty Frozen colorways that are totally from the movie Frozen. And then today was the Black Sheep Fiber Guild, which is the local fiber guild that I like to go to. And I usually take my spinning wheel. Well, the one time I've gone before, I took my spinning wheel. But this time I just took a drop spindle because we'd been talking about that a lot as a group. A lot of them started out spinning on spinning wheels and not on drop spindles. And I did it the other way where you learn on a drop spindle so you can learn how to draft and control everything. And then I moved over to a spinning wheel. So I brought my drop spindle today just to play with, and I made this yarn. The green, this is actually a 2-ply of 2 different yarns. It's really hard to tell though because the gray and the green are so close together. But I blended a green and a gray. And they're both from a fat fiber box, which if you remember is like the samples of tons and tons of different fiber. The green was a puni with lots of art stuff in it, like lots of little pops of silk. And the gray was I don't know what the gray was because I lost the thing. But if you check I will link to it on the show notes with the correct link to all of the companies and everything, because I have it all in my Ravelry stored. I don't know how much yardage is yet because I just brought it home. And I just got back from that spinning guild and I wanted to show you guys stuff right away because the other problem that I've been having lately is it gets too dark outside by the time I get home from work and I can't record anything because it's like 4 o'clock, but it's so overcast and dark that it just wasn't working out. So I just brought this home and I'm sure I'll talk about how much yardage it was or is in the show notes. So you may have noticed my nails that I keep holding up. I have a couple missing, but I bought some Jamberries from Starnitz, who is a podcaster. The ones that have come off are the ones that I've actually taken off because I usually tear my nails. I don't bite them, but I like pick at them and tear them off. And my nails have got, except for this one, which you can guess what happened to this one, but some of my nails have gotten really long because of my Jamberries. So these are monsters for Halloween. And I have more of them. And here's the full sheet. You can see that the ones that I've used are all on the far side because I bought ones that are like from teeny tiny to super large. So there's all these cute little monsters and stuff. This was my first Jamberry order, and I also ordered some Thanksgiving ones, so I will show you guys those when November gets here. I just need to go back and replace the ones that I've picked off because I get nervous and I pick at my nails. That's neither here nor there though. I guess I just wanted you to know. But yeah, this is my first Jamberry set that I've ever worn and it stayed on amazingly. So what it is a vinyl that you use like your blow dryer to heat up, and then you put it on your nail and you like file off the extra and then you heat it again with your blow dryer, and like pressure and heat is like the things you need to do. And they look awesome. I've got tons of compliments. They haven't snagged on anything. They keep my nails from, I don't know. I don't have to paint them every day. These have been on here since the second week of October. And so probably at least 2+ weeks. So I put them on as soon as I got them because that's how I am. So they have lasted forever. I love it. I love it. I'm gonna probably get more. They are a little expensive at $15 for a sheet, but if your sheet lasts you 3 or 4 manicures, and those manicures are 2 or 3 weeks each, good grief. That's longer than any nail polish has ever lasted me. Ever. Plus, since they're one piece, they don't chip off. And if you put them on correctly, they don't peel either, but some of them I got a little antsy about. Look at this guy, he has pink eyes. I like this guy down here too. Anyway, I'll get back to the point. So at the Fiber Guild, it was a lot of fun today, and as I mentioned, we'd all been talking about learning how to drop spindle, or they have been talking about learning how to drop spindle themselves. So we all decided that we'd all learn on Turkish spindles, and since I already know and I really wanted one, I got a Turkish spindle. They're just Knit Picks Turkish spindles. They're like $15, nothing fancy. And I've already started spinning. This is the gray that was in that 2-ply. Here it is. It's very't I need to look up who made this because it's soft and I want more. But I also learned how to do a half hitch knot. It's like finger, twist, over, boom, half hitch notch. What is that? It's like science and crazy math. But, so hopefully I will have some more cool spinning stuff to show you. I mostly spin on my spinning wheel anymore, and I just spin like the samples that I get from the fat fiber box. It's kind of hard to say. I spin those on my drop spindle, so like samples of fiber. Mini skeins worth of fiber, basically, as you saw from the one before. So, but I really like this little God's eye type thing that you do in the middle of it, and I'm excited to see my little turtles or cops or whatever you want to call them that was all the blobbins. It was a lot of blobbins going on. So let's move on to my woes and my woes. So I mentioned that I had dyed another skein of that red yarn. And you're saying, Rebecca, where is the other part of the red yarn? Well, with Maria, Sam Maria, she and I both dyed our yarn the same way. And we're both knitting hitchhikers with it. Okay, so I'm sorry I got a little distracted there. I just pulled my Knit Picks needles out of the ball. So I have a yarn cake of my yarn. And I pulled them out of the center and they're super weird looking. They're gray and speckly. Like the vinegar in the yarn ate away at the metal. But I washed it and dried it before I put it in a cake. So that is super weird. I don't know what happened there. Anyway, so here's my hitchhiker so far. It's not very far along because I'm doing two different, this is for the Harry Potter knit crochet. This is for the House Cup, I forgot I was gonna say that. Order of the Phoenix mission. So I'm doing two shawls. This is one of my shawls and you'll see the other one in a little bit. But I think it's turning out really beautiful so far. I really like the way this red looks. I think it looks awesome. And even though it's not the most even dye job, I think that just really gives a lot of character. Look how awesome that is. Super awesome. So that is going really, really well. My next whip is my sweater that I am working on for my House Cup, that was loud, for my House Cup OWL. And it is trekking along. I thought I would have 50, so I thought I'd be halfway done a whole lot sooner, but just because you put stuff off and you don't work on it, I'm not as far as I thought I would be. But I do have one whole sleeve finished, and I've got halfway up the body. And I've got my second sleeve just about ready to start my next color sequence. So this is about where you saw the first sleeve at, but now I have two of them and this one's at the same spot. So I'm planning on focusing on this until I get it done because this needs to be turned in ASAP. And then I can start assembling things. So we've got just a little bit ways to go still. Not super far. So I did most of this yellow today actually. Yay! So that whip is going great. I really enjoy the yarn that I'm working with. It is Blue Moon Fiber Arts BFL. The cakes for the yarn are massive because the yarn is in like, I can see it from here. It is 661 yards approximately. That's all BFL. That's awesome. And it makes me super happy. I just knocked off my notes. As for Defeated Foes, I have so many FOs to show you. It's ridiculous. I made my mom boot cuffs, which I've already given to her. So you can't see those today, but they're still pretty awesome. I added limbs to the monster that I was making. It really needed them, I think, and I think it makes it look a whole lot better. Here's a picture before and a picture after, and you can see it just really made that monster like look awesome. I finished my socks for 10 and they look awesome. This is the side with the decoration on it, and this is the more plain side. I think they turned out perfect. They're almost the same height, which I don't ever get right with my socks when I knit them separately, and these were knit separately. So I love how well they turned out. I'm super excited about them. I may have already worn them a couple times, but can you blame me? Look at this stripy goodness. It needs to be on my feet, not my face. Whew. Super sucks. This pattern is by Java Pearl Designs, who is Cece from the Geeky Girls Knit podcast. The yarn is Lorna's Laces in the Rockaway colorway, and I knit them on my 9-inch circular knitting needle for socks, which is this big. So, boom, boom, boom. Now you know everything. So there's been this one hat that's been going around the internet like crazy lately, and I feel like a lot of people have been making it, or I've just been hearing about it a lot. So I had to make one for myself, and it's a Capucine hat, or I think that's how you say it. So it's kind of more like a hood than a hat. It just kind of sits. I was worried it would be too small, but it just kind of sits. You can put it back a little bit so your head looks less, I don't know. Some people put a ball back here and tassels. I just like it as like a soft hood. I knitted out of some of that Lion Brand homespun that looks all fluffy and lovely. And I also used some Knit Picks Marine Heather, I believe, as like an accent color every 2 rows that I just knit double with to make it have kind of these teal pops in it to give it more of a marbly effect. See? Fibertown had done one with some beautiful art yarn, and I have to admit I was a little jealous when my hat didn't turn out as awesome as hers. But I still really like the purple a whole lot. So purple's a big fan favorite here. It's just kind of a nice slouchy hood-like hat, you know? Just kind of sits there, and it's heavy enough that it doesn't really move around too much, which is really nice. So I have one more FO to show you. I finished my wingspan, which I'm pretty sure I've showed you while I was knitting. This is going to be hard because I'm not... Oh, no, that totally works. So I knit it with black alpaca and the yarn that I dyed myself. I think it looks gorgeous, doesn't it? What do you guys think? I think it looks awesome. I have not blocked it yet because I just bound off on it today. But it is fantastic. And the alpaca around the top, that's black, is right up against your neck. So it's like the perfect place for it, and it's nice and soft. And just is like, yes, I'm alpaca. Look at my wingspan. Look at it. It's marvelous. Look at that. Beautiful. I'm really excited about it. I really enjoyed knitting it, and yeah, it just went really well. Let's see, is the wingspan my full wingspan? It's a little bit longer, be honest, but I'm kind of short, so my wingspan's not as big as other people's. I can't even show you the whole thing, it's so big. But it's a pretty fantastic shawl that I was gifted. The pattern was gifted to me, and I appreciate that. You all are very sweet. But I've super loved it, and I'm moving on to my hitchhiker now, shawl-wise. This has been my car purse project kind of thing, because it's really easy to remember what happens, and so it's really easy to knit on. I did the bind off with a super stretchy bind off, because I bind off really tight if I don't, so there's lots of give up here, which is good for me. Because when it blocks out, if I need it to stretch and be flat, it's not going to say, no, there's not enough room. It's going to say, I'm stretchy. I'll do whatever you need to do, girl. I got this. Super stretchy bind off's like your best friend. It's like, girl, I know you need a little more wiggle room than that. I got this. I got this, okay? So this is going awesome. Love it. It actually fell apart while I was watching Supernatural with my boyfriend's mom. I had, well, it didn't fall apart. That's incorrect. I had, so every time you finish a point, or every time you finish a triangle, you then cast on more stitches, and then you keep knitting so that they get like chunky, right? And then move along. I forgot to do the casting on extra stitches, and I had to rip out like a whole triangle one day. That's really the only big thing that I've had. So life is good with my knitting. Pretty awesome. I gotta weave in a couple ends and block it, and then it's totes done. Totes my goats. So I have kind of a whiteboard obsession, and you can't really travel with whiteboards because when you do, all of the stuff gets wiped off of them. I was going to the Fiber Guild meeting today, and I needed to keep my whiteboard safe because it has my stitch count on it, which is I usually use Knit Companion, but for the one I'm doing, I've got to do a lot of math while I'm going, so I've just been writing it down on my whiteboard. And so I was trying to think of a way to like keep the ink on the whiteboard without getting by chance brushed away, and I was like, I could put it into a bag. Well, the bag's gonna have the same issue. It's gonna be rubbing on it. I can just be really careful. Okay, but I'm not really careful sometimes. And then what if something happens and I drop it and it wipes on my shirt and loses all the information I need, right? So I realized that if you use saran wrap or like a cling wrap kind of thing, you can saran wrap over it, and then no matter what rubs on it or pushes on it, right, it's not going to come off. And then as soon as you do that, you can erase whatever you need to erase. Is that like the smartest, dumbest thing ever? So now I have saran wrap on my whiteboard to keep my my rows safe from getting wiped off, because look at that. Fantastic. It's not the most random thing I've ever shown you on my knitting podcast. Look at my whiteboard. Look how it doesn't wipe. Isn't this fantastic? Rebecca, what's wrong with you? So the 5 things that make me happy this week are spending a lot of time with Andrew's family. We have started watching The Walking Dead and Once Upon a Time at his mom's house on Sundays, which I hope we keep doing because it's awesome. I'm really excited about going there again soon. So that is one thing that makes me very happy. The next thing that makes me happy is going to Dallas to see my good friend Lydia for the week of Halloween. I haven't got to see her since she moved there, and even though they have Ebola, I'm sure I'll be fine. I'm not an extremist about those kind of things. I'll just wash my hands a little extra. It'll be all right. So I'm super excited because I have never really traveled on my own, and I'm also flying by myself. And I've talked to tons of people about whether knitting gets confiscated or not, and they pretty much just said, just put in lifelines to be safe. Probably not, but just put in lifelines to be safe. So I'm super excited about that. My third one is the Fiber Guild today. It was super awesome. I really enjoyed it. It was fantastic. So that's a big one. The last 2, I've been doing a lot of extra work at work to get new promos out, and I feel like that's going really well right now, so I'm really enjoying work. And the last one is I've made a ton of soups lately. I've made, I'm gonna make chili today. I made a baked potato soup this week, and I just love fall soups and everything pumpkin spice. You know? I'll admit it, it's true. I don't go full latte, but I go like coffee with a splash of milk, pumpkin spice syrup. Delectable. Maybe a little splash of some cinnamon or nutmeg on top there. Are you kidding me? It's crazy good. So I've been really enjoying fall, I guess. Which is a good thing. Fall is a good thing. So that's really all I have left to talk about, you guys. I feel like this podcast wasn't very long. And it should have been, because I had like 5 million things to tell you. But maybe I'll turn this off and it'll be like an hour. I have no concept of time. But thank you for those of you who reached out to me. It really meant a lot. That's one of my 5 favorite things. Shoot, let's make that number 1. People who reached out to me. Let's make it number 2 because Andrew's family should come first. So 2 is people who reached out to me, and then I'll just shuffle around the rest of the numbers because that was really, I don't know, it was really touched me. Gotta be right here, you know? This this internet-based family type thing that Ravelry can be is weird because you don't want to invade someone's privacy, but you get worried about them, you know, if you don't hear from them a couple days. And I know that I've met very few of you in person, like 2. So, it just meant a lot. It really did. Thank you. And if you would like to meet me, right, let's segue to that. I'll be in Dallas. Let me know. Send me a PM. I will hang out with you. We will be friends. Public place, coffee shop. I'm not going to meet you at your house because you're an internet person. As much as I love you all, I don't know how to get to your house. So, thanks for watching. And remember, wherever you are, especially Dallas, I'll knit with you. Bye, guys.